This What If was requested by Chaos Cateriano 7 on What If Yamcha became a Saiyan. The divergence point is much like that of Massacre X's similar one on Kuririn, with Yamcha wishing to be like Goku about a year before Raditz's arrival, since Yamcha would be too strong at later points of the series to have his cells altered so much. When feeling unsatisfied at just having a baseball career, and knowing he can't catch up to Goku as things are, without having whatever naturally keeps his friend ahead of the rest, noting specifically to Shenlong, maybe whatever reason Goku had a tail. He quickly finds his body far more battle ready, and puts his career on hold to push his new body further, and seek out Kuririn as a sparring partner, quickly catching up to and then surpassing his friend. He doesn't say how he got his tail when embarrassed to admit he felt inadequate, and says it just suddenly grew. Despite his relationship issues with Burma, Yamcha shows up at the reunion when being told by Kuririn and wanting to test himself against Goku. Raditz ruins his plans though, and is surprised at there being another Saiyan, with him trying to persuade Yamcha too, but to no avail. Yamcha flies with Goku and Piccolo to face Raditz. At this point, he is only slightly stronger than Tenshinhan, but he makes up for it by having the Sokidan prove a distraction to Raditz, and Goku grabbing his tail even earlier. Raditz pleads with Goku as Piccolo charges up the Makanko Sappo, with Raditz breaking free just as Piccolo launches it, and coming away with his arm pierced and paralyzed, rather than a burnt shoulder. He launches a ki blast at Yamcha that is unfocused enough Yamcha can barely survive, and the battle then goes as normal. Yamcha is then helped back to Kame House, with his recovery having him become stronger, and after having learnt all they can from Kami, Kuririn, looking up to Yamcha's strength, has him request to keep sparring with Yamcha. By the time they fight the Saiyans, Kuririn has come close to Piccolo's level, whereas Yamcha has managed to become the strongest of the Dragon Team present, his Kamehameha being more than enough to destroy his Saibai-Man opponent, before he and Piccolo take the rest. He's still far weaker than Nappa, but sticks in the fight until Goku is close to arriving, his Sokidan proving enough of a distraction that Goku arrives before Nappa can try to target Gohan, with the Senzu divided in three making it less potent. Yamcha, Gohan, and Piccolo are barely able to fend off Vegeta, with the incomplete recovery having Piccolo eventually falter and receive a fatal blow. Gohan attacking Vegeta with enough rage, combined with Yamcha's strength, damaging him enough the Genki Dama forces him to retreat. Yamcha and Kuririn both try to stop him, but Yamcha realizes he feels the same as Goku after the latter's plea. Yamcha takes time to reconnect with Burma while Katatsu's ship is being repaired, and joins the regular group going to Namek, getting his potential unlocked at the same time as Gohan, and ending up at a battle power of roughly 20,000. Has him last only a little longer than Gohan against Rikum, especially with his Sokidan, before Rikum gets bored enough to bring him down with a Rikum kick. Goku has to divide Vegeta and Yamcha's senzu to heal both, and though it's still enough for Vegeta to dominate Geese, it's not as great as usual until he also has his rest. The same goes for Yamcha, who ends up slightly weaker than Gohan by the time they face Frieza, with Frieza not in the mood to be cordial with him. Yamcha tries to distract Frieza with a Sokidan when he attacks Gohan, but it does nothing to him. It's when Vegeta brings up his plan that Yamcha steps in to tell Kuririn to injure him instead, so that a Saiyan they can trust gets that power, which Dende is far quicker about. Yamcha goes to attack Frieza, who doesn't stall about going into his true form to face him, this time giving Kuririn the opportunity to wound Vegeta, and Dende healing him before becoming Frieza's target, once he puts out enough power to best Vegeta and Yamcha. It's when Goku arrives and is quickly forced to use the Kaioken that Yamcha tells Vegeta to create the Power Ball he used on Earth for both he and Gohan to become Ozaru as a last resort. Though Goku persuades Gohan to target Frieza, Yamcha's fully Saiyan biology makes it more difficult to appeal to him, with Kuririn having to cut his tail off with the Kienzan. The combination of Goku and Gohan is enough to pressure Frieza far more, with Frieza Frieza having to go to 70% to stop the combined might of a 20 times Kaioken Kamehameha and Gohan's Cho Makoho, then destroying the Power Ball before attacking Goku. Yamcha and Vegeta being there to help distract Frieza still allows Goku to launch the Genki Dama, but at the cost of their lives against a far more angry Frieza. The events on Namek then going unchanged, beyond Yamcha being revived with Frieza's other victims. After that, his Saiyan instincts have him request Vegeta spar with him whenever they can at Capsule Corporation, who is willing to when seeing his strength on Namek, their efforts having Yamcha reface Goku's strength by the time he returns, and Vegeta being a bit stronger. Nothing changes for the key points of the future timelines, beyond Yamcha becoming the Super Saiyan against 17 and 18, only to fall all the same, with the next change for History 1 being Yamcha leaving to spar with Goku's group after Burima's pregnancy, when having become uncomfortable around Vegeta, though less so than normally when having had time to know him far better. His frustration being channeled into a desire to push himself further has him become a Super Saiyan a few months before they face 19 and 20. He transforms immediately against them and goes on the offensive straight away, with 20 being unable to grab him at first, but his arrogance does have him get grabbed just as the others arrive. Though Goku kicks 20's arm when sensing Yamcha losing ki, and 20 avoids getting the full amount, 20 is powered up enough that he calls Vegeta's bluff later on, where Yamcha steps in to assist him. 20 can't grab either with the instinctual teamwork they've developed, and Piccolo decides to step in when having gotten a good grasp of 20's abilities, and what ki he got from Yamcha having been used up now. Less distance to travel brings Burima there before Trunks, and Yamcha is the one to save her from Gero, with both feeling a bit awkward about it. Trunks arrives just as Burima provides information on Gero, and gives his side when Piccolo asks him if the names 17 and 18 mean anything to him. Meanwhile, Kuririn is the one to take Goku home, but is still determined enough to help his friends that he returns in time to meet up with Ten and Piccolo. Yamcha instead finds Gero going into his lab and charges straight at him, but Gero quickly shutting the door is enough of a distraction for him to rush and activate the twins. Yamcha and Trunks attacking 18 together pressures her a bit more, but the results are the same when 17 quickly knocks out Piccolo and Ten Shinhan to help her. Yamcha joins Trunks when sensing things going on in Ginger Town, and is just as motivated to see if surpassing Super Saiyan is possible, which gives Yamcha time to tell Trunks what he's come to know of Vegeta, having more than selfish visage. He's determined to use the Room of Spirit and Time when Goku invites the other Saiyans, but wanting Trunks to have the opportunity to bond with his father, he decides he'll go in after the other pairs and helps Piccolo in the meantime. His best efforts can't do anything to Cell though, who injures him just as much as Piccolo, and requires a Senzu as he stays on the sidelines until Goku and Gohan emerge. He decides to go in the room with Trunks, where his experience and willingness to help Trunks have them master Super Saiyan to the same level as Goku, Yamcha ending up slightly stronger than Goku, while Trunks ends up stronger than Gohan. Goku isn't aware of the depth of their ki though, and still has Gohan fight Cell, but tells Trunks maybe he has the talent to deal with things once Piccolo makes him realize his mistake. This is too late, as 16 attempts to self-destruct is broken, and the Cell Jr.'s attack. A fresh Yamcha and a far more powerful Trunks easily defeat their opponents before helping Vegeta defeat his, but Cell is annoyed enough at these two ruining his game that he shoots through Yamcha's heart with a death beam and taunts the others by holding the Senzu far out of reach. Trunks has bonded so much with Yamcha that his rage has him awaken Super Saiyan 2, and he quickly makes Cell cough up 18 from a single kick. Before Trunks can finish things though, Cell quickly resorts to his self-destruction, which Goku is forced to redirect as normally. When Cell returns, Trunks' different position has Ten Shinhan instead be the one who's targeted, and Trunks faces Cell one-on-one. Though Trunks is stronger, Cell's techniques keep things even, until 16 tells Satan to throw him near Gohan, to encourage him to use the sadness of his father's death to retain the same form as Trunks, with both half Saiyans putting an end to Cell together, Vegeta comes to the same realizations as usual when feeling proud at his son's accomplishments, though Bulma doesn't have the equipment to repair 16's body to the same degree. She does give him a very basic robotic body in order to walk around and enjoy nature, even if not suited for battle anymore. 16 and 17 thereby going into the park ranger business together. As Yamcha can't be revived with Earth's Dragon Balls, he chooses to go with Goku to Otherworld. Then Shinhan refuses revival, even knowing how Chaozu will feel, to reach new plateaus with Goku, as diverging from Kaio's teachings may be what held him back, and it's better if he returns with new techniques to help out against any new threats, saying he'll tell them when he's ready to be revived. These three go on their new adventure, and how this will affect the Majin Buu arc, we'll have to wait for part 2.